When you do a lot of farming or run a ton of events inside of Diablo Immortal, you wind up with a ton of legendary gear, and a lot of times players just don't know what gear they should be equipping and what gear they should be pulling essences from and salvaging. So I'm going to go through what I look for when I'm looking at all of the gear that I'm accumulated from all of these different events. Now, an event that's going on right now is the Winds of Fortune. And as you can see, I have ended my 24 hours of double rewards. But because of this, I've been able to accumulate essentially double the amount of legendary gear. I've run Heliquary, I've done bounties, I've done dungeons, I've done any events the game has to offer, and I have a bag full of legendaries because of it. One note right here is you do not want to claim this. Make sure that when this event ends, you leave it. It will bring this to your mail, and then you can use this experience at a more opportune time inside of the game when you're really looking to jump Paragon levels, maybe because there is a big update like we just had, or you're super behind on Paragon, you're getting a lot of good enhanced rewards, and you use it then to get a big jump. This is something that I do with my Winds of Fortune, plus all of my Battle Pass rewards that I get. I save everything for either a Monday, when the server Paragon level jumps by 10, or I save it for the end of a Battle Pass season, because at the very end of a Battle Pass season, you're getting a big jump into the next, and you do end up getting yourself more experience gain over that time using this strategy. Not everyone wants to do it. Not everyone can deal with red dots all over the place, but it's something that I found very valuable. For example, we just had a server update. Basically, the update dropped inside of the game and the server Paragon was bumped up by 40 levels. I was at 1,163. In just one day, I gained 45 Paragon levels from this method, pushing me beyond the server Paragon level, and I'm now sitting at 1,214. 14 levels above server Paragon, only earning 10% of rewards. So there's no reason for me to claim any experience rewards right now, because I'm only getting 10% of that true value. But shall we talk about gear? All right, first of all, it's very easy to see when there is a green arrow popping up, you say, oh, this is a better piece of gear. Usually that means it has more combat rating. You see right here, this piece that I am not wearing, the Protocol, has 2,861 combat rating, while the Lofty Light has 2,856. To a untrained eye, you may say, oh, this is a better piece, I'm going to throw this on. And recall, you can pull essences from anything, so don't even worry about the essences right now. I'll get into more on that in a moment, but you really need to look at, first of all, the attributes. You really want to have fortitude on all of your gear. I'm talking about anything that you wear, you should try to have fortitude. It should be a priority. As you can see right here, vitality, willpower, strength, it's missing fortitude. So for me, even though this is stronger for combat rating, it's not going to be something that I would want to wear because it is missing the fortitude, which is essentially an essential stat for you in any of your gear. Then you want to look at the magic attributes. Now, sometimes my priority is I look at the combat rating. I like to wear higher combat rating gear. Then I make sure that it has fortitude. If it doesn't, it's almost always an instant pass for me. And then I look at the magic attributes. I like to get 3, sometimes even 4 magic attributes to really be a piece that's a solid piece for me. And there's going to be some that are better than others. I like to get critical hit chance on gear if possible. This is increasing my critical hit damage, which is definitely a less it's just a less important magic stat in my opinion. You also can get these enhanced ones that are going to give you some extra bonuses to your class, like Conjuration of Light. I am wearing Conjuration of Light. This is going to increase my movement speed by 8%. It also is going to give me skill damage increase by 4%. So this shield, this offhand weapon that I'm wearing as a Crusader, it's not the best piece in the world, but it is better than the one that's showing the arrow up. But you also don't want to only worry about arrows up, because there could be pieces that don't have any arrows up that are potentially better. So the combat rating isn't higher here. The fortitude, you actually have more fortitude, although it's not a triple stat here. But the magic attribute, you only get 1 magic attribute. Primary attack damage is increased. We'll take a look at a couple more of the shields right here. Fortitude, Critical hit chances increases is actually a decent piece, but it's a substantial drop in combat rating. I'd probably lose approximately 60 combat rating from switching over to this one, but I do get that critical hit chance increase, which I do like. Over here, critical hit damage increased. It's willpower, it's a pass. Vitality, pass. Fortitude, knockback resistance, not that great a thing, and I'd be losing about 50 combat rating. So essentially my point here is you want to look through all of the gear and make sure that it's not a piece that you're just ignoring because there's no green arrows. You should really look at all of the gear before you delete anything. Now, keep in mind when you have stances unlocked, and remember, a stance is an additional primary weapon and additional secondary weapon slot. You have 2 primaries and 2 secondaries. You can go through and you could switch the slot to see, oh, is this better than either of the pieces that I'm wearing? And as you can tell, willpower, vitality, no, we're looking for fortitude. Here's some fortitude right here. But I really like the magic attributes on here. Critical hit damage. We have the primary attack is a 5% chance what to trigger skin veiled swarm. So some nice extra bonuses that we're getting here. You have some bonuses on this one, and it is fortitude. You're losing 40 combat rating, but this is going to do something for dash skill cooldowns and monsters have a chance to explode on death. That one would be active for me. So point is, just because you have an arrow up doesn't mean the gear is better. Right here, we have willpower instead of fortitude. It's only 2 combat rating higher. And I really do love beneficial effect duration. It's one of my favorite magic attributes on all pieces of gear. Beneficial effect duration is going to allow you to use your skills more often. The more beneficial effect duration you have, the more often you could use your skills until you get yourself to a point where you have 100% uptime, which means your skills are always available to be used. There's never a time when they are on cooldown. That is the goal, and it's harder with some classes than other. So here, I really don't want to get rid of my beneficial effect duration. Even if these magic attributes were great, I'm probably going to hold on to these pants for a little bit longer because of that beneficial effect duration. Now, I did mention essences, so let's talk a little bit more about that for those of you that are really brand new. Essences are essentially the modifications that a piece of gear does to your skills. If you take a look up here on the map, there is this little squiggly icon. That is an essence transfer. They are all over Westmarch. You have one down here. You have one up here. You have one up here. They're basically all around the game. When you go to an essence transfer, you're able to pull the essences from all of the gear that you've found. And when you do that, you'll have that essence unlocked, meaning you could swap that essence onto any piece of gear you have. You would do that by inheriting. So let's say right here, this Heart of Grandeur chestplate, if I wanted a different essence, I would come over here and I could choose any of the essences that I've found and extracted from gear. And I could switch it over to that piece of gear. So really, you're collecting essences more than you're collecting gear. You're looking for that super strong piece of gear while you're actually trying to collect all the essences. So when you go to extract, you'll notice you also have this loyalty bonus. It's right down here. When you click on this, these are the essences that I have not yet gotten. There's quite a few. We just had new essences drop inside of the game this week. All of these I have, and I'm missing the new essences here. I can purchase these if I want to, the new essences with loyalty points, and I can purchase older essences with legacy loyalty points. That just means the older essences I could purchase. If I want to, I could unlock this essence right now because I have 2,100 of these legacy loyalty points. But if I wanted to unlock Sacred Strife, which is a brand new essence, I don't yet have enough loyalty points. I only have 36. How do you get loyalty points? You get them from finding gear and extracting. Now, if we take a look at my bag really quickly right here, I have a lot of gear. All this gear was actually from one day of farming just during these events and hopefully finding some new essences. So what I'm gonna do right here, because all of the gear in my bag, I've already siphoned through everything and nothing is better than what I'm currently wearing. I did take some pieces that I got, I put them on. These are all of the not as good pieces of gear. What I do when I go to extract, I click on multi-extract, I click on select all, which as you can see is right here. Two of the items are stronger. That's those arrows up that we spoke of, but we've already determined that they're not better. We're going to continue. And check this out. I have 2 new essences out of the 60 pieces of gear, essentially. I have 2 new essences. Let's extract all of those. Boom. This is one of the new essences right here. The Heart Surge. Beautiful. And we got a new shoulder piece as well. This is Squash Tox. So right now, when we go and take a look at the loyalty bonus, we've got more unlocked and we can inherit more different essences. And now I have loyalty points 101 from the 36 that I did have. So I'm getting a little bit closer to be able to actually purchase anything that I want from the loyalty bonus. I'm halfway there to purchasing one of the new essences if I can't unlock it naturally. Remember, this game really relies on your combat rating. I'm sitting at 55,339 combat rating right now, and a lot of that happens from the gear, the gems, and all of the different things that you are upgrading throughout your gameplay. And it's a constant struggle when players are trying to go from one Inferno difficulty to the next because it's combat rating gated. If I want to get to Inferno 11, I need, or I should have, near 56,700 combat rating. I'm not quite there yet, so I can't start farming that area and can't start getting that stronger gear because every new difficulty you go to offers you a new level of gear that's available to you. Now, if you want to get gear, I also, and you probably as well, have a handful of mystery legendary items. I have 119 of them right here. This is for your primary legendaries, and I actually save up all of these chests. I am a hoarder. These chests hold pieces of gear. I get those chests from events inside of the game, and honestly, I barely ever use them. You should be using them, finding yourself the best pieces of gear that you can slot onto your character. One thing though is make sure that you use them at a time when you're new into a new Inferno difficulty. Don't use them as you're about to leave an Inferno difficulty because whatever gear you're wearing will be replaced with gear you unlock at the new difficulty level. Now, something I like to do in all my videos is take a look at a comment or two from the community, and this one came from Order and Chaos, and it actually does have to do with gear, so it's appropriate for this video. And he says, I'm wondering if you might spend some time in a future video talking about the cursed properties moving to the Paragon system. I think it's a nerf since you can't have it active with another Paragon tree, but what do you think? Is it still worth using over some of those trees, or did we lose a damage multiplier? Let me go in depth here. Prior to this update that we just got, we had pieces of gear that had cursed properties. This piece of gear has those cursed properties, but they're not active right now. Essentially, cursed properties were extra buffs that you were able to add to your character in addition to your Paragon tree. As you can see right here in this current build, I'm using the Slinger Paragon tree. But a new Paragon tree was added in this update, and it basically includes the 3 most popular cursed properties that were used, those being Nettled, Vexed, and Lashed. I actually really liked Nettled myself. These were properties that were attached to your gear and that you could actually use all the time, in addition to any other Paragon tree that you wanted. But now you need to actually choose this Paragon tree and the attributes that you want to activate those properties. If I wanted to use Nettled, I would need to stop using the Slinger Paragon tree and I would need to activate the Nettled, which would then in turn make me lose the damage buffs that I'm getting from that other Paragon tree. So for me right now, I don't think it's more valuable to use these properties from this Meldictor Paragon tree, Nettled, Vexed, or Lashed. I would rather use the ones that I've used in the past, which essentially is Slinger for damage. I go Gladiator so that I can have fatal attacks from players to cheat death. And I go with Survivor to prevent dying from big monsters, specifically when I'm going Heliquary. So in a nutshell, I do think it was a bit of a nerf to our builds, not having cursed properties part of our gear. But then at the same time, it's a nerf that everyone has gotten together, and it's not like someone's going to have a different advantage over us now that cursed properties are gone. So I think it was a simplification of how gear is being used now that we have these new pieces of gear right here. That new gear are the ancient legendary pieces of gear, which when you get to Inferno 10, I believe, is when you could start farming the resources to craft these. You could do helmets and chest plates as of right now, but in the future, it's going to extend itself to other gear as well. Well, I'll tell you, I really wasn't expecting this video to be a guide on gear, but it did turn out to look that way now, didn't it? I hope you guys found it valuable and now know a little bit more about what gear you should be equipping and what gear you should be salvaging to pull out those essences. If you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments section below. Throw a like on the video, subscribe, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.